So yesterday was a rough day. Nothing like catastrophic happened or anything, but it was just one of those days, and I'm sure you've had days like this too, where you just realize how inadequate you are in so many areas. And so my weaknesses were so glaringly apparent to me, and I'm sure to many others. And I just felt like a lot of the effort I've been putting into things maybe has just been almost felt like wasted because it's just not good enough. And I just saw how unable and incapable, and I just don't have the talents or the time or the energy to do all of these ideals and all of these things that I want to do and hope to do for my family and the people in my circle of influence and the things I'm trying to run and do. And because I had several experiences that just didn't go like I'd hoped in all sorts of different areas in my calling, in the class I tried to mentor and lead a discussion I hope to make more impactful, in a meeting I had, in my relationships, the program I'm trying to run with a school that's just not working for certain people in certain ways, and so many things I needed to troubleshoot and so little time. And I wanted to, where you have those moments where I'm just gonna move to the mountains and have a little cabin and just not worry about all the stuff. Why am I putting myself through this? And it's not even doing the good that I hoped. If it was making the impact that I hoped, then it'd be worth it, but it's not. And so I was going to bed, and I knew that I was just going to beat myself up as I went to bed and think of all the things I'm not doing well. So I knew I needed to listen to something inspiring to kind of remind me who I am, to remind me God's love for me, and to kind of put me in a better mindset. And I couldn't find any headphones, so I decided to just sleep in the toy room on the floor. I got a little fold-out mattress. I didn't wake up my husband with my music. And I just laid there and I listened to, several songs, but the one that came on first that really impacted me was a song called Laying It All Down by Nathan Pacheco. And it just reminded me that God sees my heart and He loves my efforts, even though they're, subpar, and that if I just lay it at His feet, He's willing to take the burden. I don't have to carry it. He's been carrying it all along. Whatever my perceived notions are, He's been carrying the burden, and I just don't see it sometimes. And so it was a really good reminder. And of course I just cried lots of tears on my pillow because of my inadequacy, but also because of His greatness and His goodness and His reminders to me. And I wanted to share that and another experience that I had this morning, in case that you're having some of these same feelings of your efforts just not feeling like they're measuring up to your expectations or to what you hope that they would be with your family in other ways. This morning I needed to drive my kids to math, and I decided to go on a little hike while they were there. And I started the hike, and when I was pulling up, it started to look kind of foggy. I'm hiking up, and the Spirit just whispered to me. I just had this feeling sometimes life feels like this, you can't see very far ahead of you. And that's how it's been for the last few months, to be honest. In my life, I've been seeking answers about next steps to take and big things to do. And I haven't been seeing very clearly, and I feel kind of scattered in a lot of different directions because there's a lot of ways I feel are important that I can contribute, and things I can do that I want to help with, but I'm not sure what the best way is, what Heavenly Father or what Jesus would do if He were in my shoes, right? That's what I want to know. What's the best way to make an impact to help those people who need it most without neglecting my family, of course, and my health and those things that are important. And so as I've been asking these questions, I just haven't been feeling a lot of clarity, and I feel like I'm walking in a foggy day sort of, but I can see enough in front of me to know the next steps. I have at least the next 5 steps that I know I should take. And I've been neglecting them a little bit because I'm so busy looking for the next ones, right? Mentally neglecting them. I put them off or procrastinate because I feel stressed about not knowing everything. That seems so silly, but I don't see it at the time. And so in this hike, there was once when I was hiking through the fog, and I came out onto a more clear path out of one of the little foggy clouds that I felt Heavenly Father saying, it's not always going to feel foggy. You'll see more clearly sometimes, but sometimes it is going to feel foggy, and you just need to trust me enough to take the next few steps you need to take, and trust that as you continue to take those steps, you'll come out and things will be more clear. But you have to take those steps first. And I'm with you as you take them. So don't stress. I'm guiding you. I know where you're going. You don't need to know. And that was a really peaceful and good assurance to me. And the next thing he taught me was a little after that. I looked up. I felt like I'd been hiking for a while, like I was probably getting time to turn around. I think there's like 12 or 13 or 14 switchbacks on this trail, I'm not sure. And I went up to the next switchback and it was number 3. And I was like, what? I'm only on number 3. I feel like I've been hiking forever. And I remembered that the first switchback is a really long one. And the next switchback is pretty long, not as long as the first. And the third one is a little shorter than that. And then the switchbacks on this trail start getting closer and closer together to when you're like on number 7, you can see number 8, like it's pretty close in front of you. And Heavenly Father taught me another lesson whispered in my heart, like, it feels like some of these first steps and some of these things you're doing are taking forever. Like this Warrior Journey program that I've been working on, it's been like 3 years. I know this because Facebook posted a thing the other day that's like, 3 years ago you did this. I was like, wow, that's when I was starting to try to share some of these things, and it's been a while. And it still feels like it's not where I want it, and there's still so many like trouble spots and feedback about things that should be better and could be better, and it feels so slow, and I want it to make this impact that it doesn't seem to be making. But I felt this feeling like the first steps to anything good you want to do always feel slow, but it'll start to pick up. It'll start to have the impact you want more quickly as you continue to go. And don't give up just because it feels like it's not making an impact or it's not doing all the good you hope. Just keep going and you'll see more improvement and more impact if you don't give up, and it'll come more quickly. Some of the foundation has been laid, and that's the hard part. It's the part you don't necessarily see, but in a house, eventually you see the pretty outside house. You don't see how difficult it was to do the foundation, but that's important. And so keep going. And I think this applies to all of us in any habit we're trying to build, in any system we're trying to implement in our home, in any organization we're trying to start or run, or whatever it may be. Like, just remembering, I think it's really easy to give up on those foundational first, second, third switchbacks because it seems like it's taking forever. And that was just a lesson that was whispered to my heart. I hadn't been thinking about it in terms of this until then. It just kind of hit me like, you've been laying a foundation and it's going to continue to improve, but it's not going to take as long. I guess that's part of what was holding me back. I was like, man, it's taken so long to get it to this point. How much longer is it going to take to get to this next? Like, I see a simpler way to do it, but I don't have time to start all over. But I realized, like, no, the foundation's been set. So simplifying it's not going to take as long, and you can do this. Just keep going. And that was a really sweet whispering from the Spirit as well. And again, I wanted to share it with you because I know that I'm sure you're trying to do good things that sometimes feel like just take forever. And no matter how hard you try, you just kind of feel like you're starting over and over again. And your systems you're developing, like, that one didn't work, I'm trying a new one. And why does nothing work? But you're just laying a foundation, and it's okay. Like, what is important is who you're becoming as you do it, because then that will help you reach the next level with the strength that you didn't have before, as you get to know God better and get to know yourself and your relationship to Him through those trials and those efforts and that falling and picking yourself back up. That's what the atonement is for. And I just needed to remember it myself, I guess, this morning. But that's what it's for. Like, no matter how many times we fall, Heavenly Father's right there with His hand, and He's like, you learned something from that fall, let's try again. And His atonement so that He could always reach His hand down to us and pick us right back up from wherever we are, wherever we've fallen. It doesn't matter. It's always going to be there, ready to take us as soon as we're ready to reach up to Him and to lead us along and to help us learn from each of those experiences. So I hope that is some helpful thoughts for you that I've been learning and thinking about and that have helped me. I appreciate you hanging in there. Like, I haven't been consistent on the podcast. I haven't been consistent on the Facebook group. There's a lot of things that I wish I could do better. But thank you for being here, listening to this one. You're still here, and for understanding and for all the work that you're doing for good. Thank you for the efforts you're putting into your family and your stewardships and the things that you're responsible for, because I know that as we continue to take those little steps, that our efforts will bring more light to this world. And that's what is needed to fight the darkness that's so prevalent in the wars and things that are happening. Like, it sometimes feels like there's not much we can do, but our little efforts in our small ways bring more light. And as we continue to flood the world with our very inadequate and very weak efforts, that God's light will shine through us, and we'll start to overcome that darkness as we continue to seek that path and continue to try to take those next few steps. So I'm grateful for you and your willingness to do that, and your efforts you're putting into the things you're doing as well. So thanks for listening.